which is really good, which means he can get out of the intensive care unit and move to the...
He's in ICU. I didn't know he's in ICU.
He was, yeah. But it's not because... Well, ostensibly it's because that's where the plasmapheresis machine is.
Yeah.
But my dad's pretty convinced that they wanted him there anyway, because his symptoms were looking really bad. But he...
My dad's never had to do anything like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just like a crash.
Yeah, it felt like a big build-up kind of thing.
I was reading online that you can have these things, I can't remember what it's called now, it's like myocynthia panics or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, people can die from them and stuff. It's like,
yeah.
It's basically where your nervous system is just like, no!
Yeah. He was very close to being put on a respirator.
I told my dad about it, and he's like, I thought that only on set when you were like in your late 40s, and I was like, oh no, it's
yeah,
so
it's super, it's crazy rare. But on the plus side, it means that once he's stronger and what have you, he can have the thymectomy, because his thymus gland's definitely enlarged. They've done a CT scan, and it tends to have better effects on the younger you are. So that's
like, there's another person in seafood after my drugs, and I'm like, yeah, you got to share
now. That's amazing.
He felt pretty bad because his brother's only young.
Yeah, but no, he's too much. He's moving to the neurology ward tonight, which should be much nicer. He'll actually get to be able to move around and
why do I just get a weird vibe when you say neurology ward of him like going in, and it's just like all these people like, we're the neurology or so, don't know why. Just weird.
Could be.
Right, are we ready to begin?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, in the last session of Wildemount, we pretty much spent it all within the dream, didn't we? Where the dream of one of the Fearbold dreamers within the Crispell Thicket, Wild Mother's temple, and as you try to lay to rest the evil druid, Oman Shadowflow, unfortunately you guys weren't successful, and he managed to escape the dream upon his dreadful horizon-back tortoise mount, and despite having the wondrous forms of a pie in the sky, wearing literal custard pie, a will-o-wisp, a frog, and a pile of coins, wasn't quite enough, unfortunately, to stop this evil character escaping. And who knows what stuff he's up to now? I'm sure it's completely innocent.
Oh, he's having a great time.
You then entered the third dream, and you found a number of stone giant dreamwalkers who are being watched over by a Fearbolg who... quite a short Fearbolg who was struggling to stop them from awakening Scorea Stonebones, the son of the stone giant god, and well, due to that, you sought to seeing how you could help out, and so you went and saw the first one, who you tried to help. tried to convince him to help his older brother. Sort of rise up against him, who seemed to be the one who leading the charge on raising Scorea Stonebones, and you unfortunately didn't get quite the jump distance you wanted, so you went and sought out the second brother, who you completed his jigsaw for him, and now you've headed back down to the first giant to see if this particular giant can make the jump that you couldn't, so we will jump back in after my amazing recollection as I still wake up. Let's get stuck right in, shall we?
Joheim, that's his name.
Joheim, that's it.
Fucking Joheim.
So, with Ruknar, the speechless, quite literally, stone giant beside you. You stroll down across this foresty peninsula, down a winding hill, and taking you to the rather large cottage for your size of Crimbog, the happy-go-lucky giant who continues sitting on his swing and looking out at the birds that are flying across the skyscape of this particular dream. What's your plan of action?
Did we already ask him to do the jump?
I cannot remember. So if you did, then I think at this point he would be happy to do the jump for you.
Can we help him?
You certainly can help him in the similar ways if you choose to.
It's not against the rules to get your brother to help, right?
He sort of swings back and forwards, and he looks down and he's like, "Oh, you're back. Hey, Ruknar. Yeah. I haven't seen you in a while." And you see the other giant kind of raises up his fist and kind of makes like a hand motion and like a sort of like these flowing hand motions and like as if he's doing some kind of sign language, you think. And Crimbog's kind of like nodding along as he's doing each one, and he's like, "Oh, I see. Well, if Ruknar wants to have a go, then that's fine with me."
Oh, yeah. You're going to do really good.
I don't think he'll do quite as good as me, but, well, that's quite hard.
Well, that's true. You did jump really far, but with our help, maybe.
Well, you're welcome to try. And he steps aside from the swing and gestures Ruknar, who sort of walks up kind of slowly and a bit apprehensively, kind of like ducks under a branch and sort of sits himself on the swing, and kind of you can see himself getting sort of comfortable.
Alright, well, I'm gonna push you with some water. She looks around to everyone else.
Gertrude frantically looks ways to help, but can't really see any.
Excuse me.
A thoughtful look on his face, and kind of stroking his chin with his arm resting on his staff. It's like, I'm not convinced making our friend here bigger will help in this instance.
No, but maybe you could turn into something really big and give him a push, maybe. Or maybe like 1,000 spiders and push him that way.
Yeah. I can turn into something. And Spirion will use his wild shape to turn into...
1,000 spiders, 1,000 spiders!
1,000 spiders! That looks suspiciously like a boar.
Maybe if I try and coordinate you all for Whistleweed, and then if I blow the Whistleweed when I think it's best for you to all act, then we can make it more concerted so he gets the maximum lift.
Oh, I like that. Do a charisma check for me, Gertrude.
Oh, hell yeah!
Time to shine.
Okay. Not great. I'm going to say, due to that roll, probably no benefit on the roll itself. Can you do a athletics check for your boar, please, Tom?
Of course. Character sheet.
Okay, yeah, I'd say that gives you a +2 modifier to this roll.
Nice.
And with Silas doing the water, I think that would be an automatic +2. But Blossom, if you're using your shape water as well, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to give me a intelligence check?
Oh yeah, I'm really smart.
Okay,
Oh,
pretty good.
Nice.
You do manage to channel for another +2, so in total of +6 on these particular rolls. So in total you got +20
Oh,
on his athletics check. This guy's pretty strong, yeah.
let's go.
Here comes a nat one.
No.
Let's see how it goes. Boom.
Oh.
Oof. But it is with another
20.
another 6 on top of that, but it's still not enough. He only gets
Oh,
230 feet.
no.
As he looks like he's falling short, Gertrude's gonna. Hang on, let me just look. She's gonna cast the fog cloud around the sort of area he's landing in.
Okay, so yeah, you cast, and suddenly as he's starts falling, it looks like he's about to fall short and hit the water. Just poof, up from the ocean below, the sort of shallow waters, just this big fog cloud appears where he would have landed, and then you sort of see this, you just hear this kind of splash into the water, and some of the water goes flying up and above the fog cloud.
Gertrude starts celebrating. He did it! He did it!
Do
yeah.
do a deception check with disadvantage
She'd
for me.
also be trying to get Blossom involved because she knows. She'd be like, "Look, Blossom, he did it!"
I know, that sure is amazing. Well done.
Yeah,
Deception.
deception straight roll. Thanks to Blossom helping you, I think.
Oh.
17. I'm gonna say this guy's actually a bit worse than usual as well. I would say, well, would that actually change it to a +0? Yeah, it would, right? If his wisdom's 8, putting it down to a 7 would make it minus. Would that make it -2?
Yeah.
Yes. So this is with an extra 1 off as well. He's gonna do an insight check. Oh!
For fuck's sake!
Oh,
It's a
my
match for 17. He kind of looks over a moment, and he's kind of like looking really carefully, and he's kind of like examining the horizon with his hand over, and he looks down, he says, "I don't think he did it."
Oh no, it's right, definitely. Both feet made
He
it.
definitely did. And that's 2 out of 5. What do you think, Firian?
Varian snorts as a boar.
What did he say, Blossom?
I think it's a yeah.
Well, let's give this one last shot. And he steps up to the tree, and this time he swings back and forth and back and forth, and he lets go, and he jumps 350 feet as he crashes down to the water. And he does a little sort of jig at the end, and he's like, "I did it!"
Yeah, well done.
Damn it. Well,
I think that's as far as I'll ever get.
oh, I don't think we can get that far.
Anything else?
We can try again.
We trying to. I don't know.
Rick now sort of
Okay.
climbs back up sort of the vines and up to the platform and sort of hoists himself back up, and not long after you see Crimbog sort of makes his way back up as well.
Well, maybe you could just pretend we did it and help us anyway.
He sort of scratches his chin and looks at you, and he says, "Well, Ricknar's here, but Joheim's awfully mean."
We've played your game for quite a while.
Do a persuasion check with advantage, Gertrude.
I mean, it was a pretty fun game, to be fair.
He kind of ponders for a moment. He's like, "Well, you did help me break my record twice."
Oh, yeah.
But if you didn't have competition, you wouldn't have pushed yourself so far.
Do another persuasion check with advantage. Okay. He's sort of nodding and he's agreeing along. If there's anything anyone else has got to say, sort of push him over the last hurdle, you think he's like on the verge of agreeing to something, but he's not. You can see there's that like hesitation and fear like that's slightly behind his eyes.
Virion will turn back from a boar, and as he does so will say, "You've shown us how brave you are with how far you've jumped. Surely that bravery is enough to face Joheim."
Give me a persuasion check with advantage.
Oh yeah, we're such a charismatic group, I love it. Persuasion.
I think, and with that final bit of encouragement, he's like, "Yeah, I suppose you're right. I never thought I'd reach that far, and maybe that means that Joheim will have to listen to me now."
No. Yeah, he will.
I'll come with you and help you and Ruknar have talk to Joheim.
Off we go, him. I guess you guys go at the front, maybe.
Well, okay. I'm not very good at doing the talking, and he sort of looks to Ruknar, and he's like, "Neither is Ruknar."
You should blossom.
Okay, I'll go at the front. I don't mind. I kind of want to meet him, you know. We'll see what mean he ripped off someone's mouth is gross.
You're very good at putting people on. Well, your method is different, and people don't expect it, so that's good.
What method?
Exactly.
So, after gathering Krimbog and Ruknar, you feel a bit more steadied as you make your way up to the top of the peninsula. Sort of a road that slowly climbs to the top of a large cliff but however, as you get closer and closer, is dwarfed by the huge hand of Scorea Stonebones. And eventually you arrive at this huge lodge at the top of this peninsula, much bigger than the other lodges. It runs maybe 100 feet just across the entrance part of the lodge, and builds up to this huge lodge standing probably 50-60 feet high, curving upwards like a Viking's lodge, with decorations on the top, all decorated to Scorea Stonebones and different sort of offerings and satin little things like hanging down from the eaves of the building. Looks quite pretty, to be honest.
Oh, he's even got a bigger house than you guys. That's pretty rude. You know, you and family, you got to share the space equally.
Yeah, I wish I had a house that big, but Joheim says it's his.
No, that's rude. No. In my house, you'd never get away with that. You know, you got to sleep in your cupboard if you start trying to take someone else's bed.
As you're saying that, you hear this like and from out inside the thing, and this huge stone giant, he is not only big, but he is wide. He is his huge bald head as he leans down, and he has to duck under the door frame of his own house and sort of pulls himself outwards and stands to a height of maybe 17 feet tall.
Jesus.
Is that him?
He dwarfs even the other ones, and you see like instantly Krimbog kind of backs away slightly, and Ruknar steadies himself a bit more, but you can see he's looks uncomfortable, to say the least. And you see this huge figure sort of approach closer, and he just sort of leans over and he says, "Who approaches?"
Me and everyone else. I heard you demeanor, and also you're really big. Damn.
He sort of like ponders over you and looks to both his brothers, and he says, "Brothers, what is the meaning of this?" You can see that Krimbog is starting to sort of fluster and like.
Well, don't you worry, Krimbog. Don't you worry. I'll talk to this mean bad guy. You was gonna awaken this big stone hand, and well, that's bad.
He sort of looks down at you, Blossom, and sort of leans in slightly, and he says, "You are so small, and have
you're really big.
Even smaller of a wit."
Well, why did you build your house too small for yourself? That's not very smart.
Kind of looks to you, Gertrude, and
is,
you see that even a slight curl of a grin appears at the side of his face, and he just sort of looks over and he says, "A design error."
Why didn't you just change it?
I grew accustomed to it. Why do you trespass this dream? Why do you trespass on the slumber of Scorea Stonebones?
Well, I told you before, maybe you should try and listen. I'll try and shout up there. Maybe you got really bad ears.
Do a performance.
I told you that.
Do a performance check, Blossom.
Okay.
Would that be any less with performance or any more?
Oh, whoops, did the wrong one. Performance. Oh, it's more with performance. Oh,
so it'd be +3, so
yeah.
An extra. Okay, so he kind of looks down and he leans into it again, Blossom, and he says, "I think you should be quiet."
Well, I don't really want to be quiet.
He leans in with his
be quiet.
He leans in with his finger and he touches you on the forehead, Blossom. Can you please make a charisma saving throw?
Okay.
Gertrude would say, well, why does Blossom need to be quiet? You're going to wake up Scorea Stonebones anyway, and, well, that's what we're here about. It's not time for him to wake up.
So as he's touching Blossom on the head, he sort of pushes a little bit further, and Blossom, you can feel this your mouth slowly from the side clamping shut on both sides, but you just sort of manage to sort of shout through it and open your mouth and keep talking, and he kind of looks ponderously at you
Hey everyone, you tried to shut me up. That was rude. You can't shut up this little halfling. I get a shout forever, and now you gotta listen. Well, what Gertrude said anyway.
This one is quite possibly the most annoying intruder I have ever encountered. It is time to wake Scorea Stonebones. The signs are in place, brothers. And he looks to you, Gertrude, and he says, "Make your case."
Well, some guy, a furball, he just told us it wasn't time for Scorea Stormbones to wake up, but I don't think he really said why. He's just not. Did he say why?
So the furball's name was Elmir, and he said that basically Scoreus is sort of meditating on this ancient secret that will only be discovered if he can complete this entire meditation and this entire slumber, and if he is awoken too soon, then the great secret might be lost forever. You don't know what that is. He didn't explain to you what it was.
So we don't know why he's waking up.
So he would have told you, Elmir, that the stone giants believe that because the slumber, because the dream was disrupted, Elmir's dream was disrupted by the bandits, that it's created some sort of schism and made Johann believe that it's time to wake him up.
Okay,
but
so she'd be like, in the outside world, not in a dream, there were bandits who we vanquished from their resting place, and we think that they disturbed him, so they think it's time to wake up, but it's not. And we've already fucked up once, and there's going to be a big god running everywhere.
He kind of looks... Go on, Virion, sorry.
Virion speaks up and says, "Surely there is an argument to be made for patience here. If you were to wake Scoraeus, that is your one chance. Giving more time surely must only increase the odds that he's been left long enough."
Kind of looks over you. Looks to Blossom once more. How is Blossom doing at this point, Hannah?
Sorry, I had to reply to my mum. What did he do? Something else then?
No, he's just looking over at you. He's listening. He sort of considered Gertrude's argument, then Firion's, and sort of looked down to you.
I just think you should not wake him up, otherwise, if you do, then I guess I'll just have to stay here and keep talking to you forever.
So as you each make your case, Ruknar kind of stands up beside you, Gertrude, and kind of stands strong and kind of starts making these gestures with his hands and sort of pounds his fist into his palm to end it, and then sort of points to the fist of Scoraeus, and then you see Firion, the more sheepish form of Crimbog, kind of makes his way up beside you, and he says, He's got a good point, brother. And then kind of trembles slightly, as if like anticipating a punch or something, or a slap around the head. So how's this going to work? It's going to be a skill challenge. Gertrude, and Firion and Blossom, if you each have made your case of your argument, if you want to back up whatever, you can either choose a skill or you can choose just a generic one of your ability scores to back up what you think is the most sort of in line with your particular argument. So for example, you may want to choose, like, I don't know, persuasion because of a particular thing, or you may want to choose wisdom because you're thinking of that's the more wise and better approach, or but I will say, because you got Ruknar and Crimbog, Gertrude and Firion do get advantage on this roll.
I can think what Gertrude would do. Gertrude would be thinking of any like liturgy that is related to the stone giants, or Scoraeus Stormbones, and she'd be trying to think of anything that relates in their scripts that would support not waking him up, and patience being a virtue and all that stuff.
What sort of skill are you going to? Religion, so please make a religion check with advantage.
Didn't it say something about the stone being as patient as the land?
He kind of looks over at you, and he sort of looks down, and he sort of shakes his head at you, and he says, and he just leans down and he presses his finger into your head. Can you please make a charisma saving throw? You feel your mouth, one side, just about stays open as you're but you feel like your throat sort of slightly more hoarse than usual, and he kind of looks you both over.
No wonder your brothers say you're a bully.
You have
So he's
made
a
your
bully.
case. And then he looks to you, Firion.
Yeah, I think it is about wisdom with Firion. He just says, sort of shakes his head slowly, and says, for one who stations himself as above others and in charge, I would think the weight of responsibility falls heavy on your shoulders. Surely this is a time for patience and consideration.
Yeah, make whatever skill you think is appropriate, and then make it with advantage. He looks down at you and sort of looks over at you, and he sort of reaches his finger out, and then he kind of like curls it backwards. And then he sort of touches it on his chin slightly, and he sort of scratches it very slowly, as if he's pondering what you said. Then he looks to you, Blossom.
Look at me.
And he sort of like, before he looks to Blossom, he says, you have made your case. And then he looks to you, Blossom.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't wake him up because maybe he smells, you know, and also he would be even bigger than you because, I mean, you wouldn't be the boss anymore, even though you shouldn't be the boss because you're mean, but, you know, he would be bigger and stronger, and maybe he would not be nice to you because you're mean to everyone else, and blah, 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 she carries on talking.
Make whatever check you think is the most relevant for that argument being made. DC is pretty fucking high on this one.
Gonna smash it.
Should we go performance, maybe? What do you reckon about performance?
I think that makes sense. You're...
persuasion?
Yeah.
Persuasion, I think.
Yeah, I think I would be fine with either. Both make sense to me.
Oh.
He looks down at you, and he says, he touches his finger once more into your head. Can you please make a another charisma saving throw?
Wait a minute. Hang on. Hang on. She like casts silent image next to... Oh, wait, hang on. Silent image? Image of an object. Oh, whatever. It's roleplay. Cast silent image, and she's gonna make a little image of the god waking up, and then him being really small against this guy, and then the god like stepping on him.
Okay.
Yeah, like that. See?
Let me think how I wanted to handle that. I think as he's sort of leaning forward and sort of touching his hand, he sort of sees it, and you can see he looks sort of slightly irritated by it. And he sort of shoves you in the chest with his finger at this point.
Wait.
Do a charisma saving throw and a strength check for me.
Okay.
Don't know how much that actually helped, but I liked it.
Normal strength check.
Yeah, strength check, just a normal strength check. Okay. He pushes you. He does manage to push you back about 5 feet, but you do sort of steady yourself and hold your ground a little bit.
You can't stop me with your rocky fingers.
And once again, you feel the mouth kind of like starting to close, but it doesn't quite close.
My mouth will never close.
He kind of looks over at you and he says, 2 cases have been made. 2 I cannot see any reason not to wake Scoreus, except 1. And he looks to you, Firion. Come. And he sort of holds out a hand and sort of gestures towards the large cottage.
Firion shares a quick moment eye contact with Gertrude, Silas, and Blossom, and then walks forward.
Yeah, she gives him thumbs up.
Don't let him touch you.
Jesus Christ.
Holds up his staff and gives it a little wave back and forth behind him.
You know, yell help if you yell.
So you see this huge form of Johann lean into the cottage inside, or to you it's like a huge open sort of hall. At the far east end you see what builds up to this huge shrine dedicated to Scorea stone bones, a huge sort of figure that stands kind of sideways onwards and sort of stands with both hands down, both fists sort of clenched into both clenched and kind of standing completely naked, but his body like as sturdy and as rigid as like carved rock, which it happens to be made out of. And around it you see there are lots of little candles and like bowls that are filled with different liquids, and you see that there are lots of other little sort of trinkets that are hung all around this place, little flowers. You see like a little jigsaw piece at the bottom, a little feather as well sits at the side. The rest of the hall is itself quite empty apart from a large table that sits in the centre, and he sort of gestures you to sit at one end of the table as he sort of begins to sit across from the other table, just on his sort of cross-legged on the floor.
Miriam would look at the shrine a moment, and then with like some whispered words into his closed hand, he would open his hand up, and a small collection of flowers would bloom there in his palm, and he'd just nod towards the shrine and say, "May I?"
He smiles and sort of nods genuinely and gestures to go ahead.
Yeah, Firion puts it down, and with another gesture of druid craft, he kind of makes the flowers that are already there bloom a bit brighter and look vital. But then he goes to sit on the chair.
Yeah, and you find yourself on a chair that's slightly too big for you. It definitely, you definitely sort of feel slightly out of place as you sit across from this huge stone giant who's just sitting on the floor cross-legged. He sort of reaches his hand across the table, and sort of in his hand you see like this swirling kind of energy, and then appearing in it is this small sort of this small tea set that he sort of gently places in the centre of the table, and he sort of gestures to you and he says, "Please help yourself."
Thank you. And Firion would put his staff down and reach out to get it.
Yeah, and you sort of pull the tea set slowly, sort of glides towards you, and you pour yourself a small tea. It looks to be sort of like a herbal tea. It smells very rich, and as you sip on it, you definitely feel this sort of relaxing sensation as the warm tea sort of drifts down the back of your throat and enters your stomach. And
Yeah,
it definitely warms you.
Closes his eyes and takes a big breath as he's doing that, inhales the steam of the tea, and then just waits patiently, opens his eyes again and looks at the giant.
In many of our legends, Scoreus is portrayed as the keeper of the secret, and others throughout the realms try and force or trick him into revealing the secret.
He sort of looks down at you and sort of kind of steadies himself and kind of places his hands together and kind of leans his elbows on the table and places it under his chin, and then kind of looks down at you with this like very foreboding kind of image of this huge stone giant looking down at your comparatively tiny form, and he says, "You have proven yourself not to be one, I believe. Yet, Council is still out on this decision. Please, share with me a story, would you? I wish to judge your character."
Virion takes a moment, another big breath of the warm steam from the tea, and then places a gentle hand on his staff. There's like a flicker of the light that runs through it. And he casts his magic sometimes, and he says, "When I was young, I felt a longing deep in my stomach. I didn't know what it was. When I spoke of it with my peers, they said I must be hungry, that I'd need to eat more. I'd eat, I'd try all the different treats and steady foods of the people where I lived. But it didn't stop the feeling. One day I was wandering. My peers had run off, left me on my own. I wandered further into the woods, away from the roofs and the trails. Slowly but surely, the urge, the longing in my stomach melted away as I got further in amongst the trees. I simply sat, rubbed my hands amongst the fallen leaves and dirt on the ground, breathed in the sweet air of wood, both rotten and new, listened to the cascading song, different birds calling their place in the world. And I knew that I was at home. As I've grown, I've realized that it's not just about fulfilling that longing deep in my stomach, but it's also about letting go of any longing at all, giving myself over to the wood, soil, the creatures that know nothing but their own pure lives. I think perhaps sometimes we struggle to let go of ourselves. We listen to our longings without really understanding what they mean. I think you long to see the face of your God, but to really connect with him, perhaps you need to let go of your own longing, as I once did.
He kind of sits and still just like completely emotionless, just staring you down with his fists placed underneath his jaw. And then in the little cup before you, you see this small rose blossom on the edge of the cup, the thorns curling around the handle of the teacup. And you see at the edge of the thorns, it sort of almost like pierces into the cup itself, and you see the liquid begins to refill. But this time, instead of tea, you see blood.
Oh.
And he looks down at you and he says, "What is your name?"
My name is Virion Moonlocks.
Virion Moonlocks. Your words speak great wisdom. Scoreus is considered the wisest of all the giant gods.
He kind of looks over you once more and he says,
I respect your wisdom. Scoreus is also the protector of magic. Do you know of magic, Virion Moonlocks?
I know some of magic, Joheim. I have seen many different rivers of magic run through others. My companions have small flurries of magic I don't truly understand. I draw my own from the land. That is where most of my knowledge lies.
Show me.
Miriam nods slowly, stands up, and I think, using the space given by this huge hall with the tall ceiling, he would cast Summon Beast, summoning the spirit of air, and have it fly down and land on top of his staff. Perched there.
He watches still, just in his dour expression. And he looks at the cup and he says,
Drink. Drink of the blood of Scoreus Stonebones, and prove to me you are not like the others.
Yeah, Miriam would do it. Lowers his head and slowly drinks of the blood.
and as it goes down your throat, it's warm and thick, but it feels the same way as it drifts down your throat as the tea did before. It feels warming and pleasant. He kind of looks over at you still, staring intently as you finish the cup of blood before and place it back upon the table. He slowly lowers his hands.
Your words speak great wisdom, Virion Moonlocks. And you prove yourself to be an honorable foe. Please, will you join me in reverence of Scoreus?
He nods, puts both hands on his staff, just says, "Consider it a great privilege."
He nods and then he makes his way over to the statue and he takes one knee before it.
Yeah.
And he gestures for you to do the same.
Tyrion does and puts the staff on the ground in front of him.
Can you do a wisdom check with advantage for me, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
13.
He looks over at you as you take the knee, and then you see him rise up, and in his other hand you see so suddenly appears a pickaxe. And he gently, very carefully, goes up to the statue, and he just taps it once, and a tiny bit of rock falls off, and he leans down, and he gestures for you to open your hand.
Tyrion does.
And he places this rock in your hand.
You have brought me great pleasure on this day, Firion Moonlocks. It is a joy to speak with one who has the wisdom and knowledge that I seek while I wait for Scoreus himself. You have shown me it is not time to wake Scoreus Stonebones. And yet, I must thank you. Your wisdom is much greater than mine in this matter. And you have shown me that should I have taken part in this, then perhaps the great secret would have come too soon.
For Vivian. A message into his head right now.
You don't hear anything, Firion.
Okay. Gertrude, he's not replying. He's being rude.
Probably good that he's been in there a while. That means it's at least talking about something.
Maybe it's bad. Maybe it's really bad.
He goes to place these stones in your hand, Firion, and as you do, you sort of realise the cup is already in your hand, the teacup.
Mm.
And he almost squishes the stones over the teacup, like he's juicing them almost. And you see this sort of this sludgy substance go into the teacup, and he gestures for you to drink once more.
Tyrion holds up the teacup towards him in a little salute. He just says, "Wild Mother, bless us both." And then drinks.
He smiles and nods to you as he turns away and just continues bowing before the statue. Firion, thanks to a fucking excellent job role-playing that, and also to the fact that you managed to pretty much single-handedly convince the stone giant in not choosing to wake Square Stonebones. And just generally were quite likeable towards him. You were a likeable sort to this stone giant. He has given you the ability to cast a spell called Stone Tell. It's not a spell that's in the D&D Beyond, but I will fix that before next session.
Amazing.
Stone Town. This spell, when cast on any type of stone or natural rock, doesn't matter if it's worked or anything like that, as long as it was, once a natural stone and not magical in nature, then you can, whilst you're touching the stone, you may question it, and you can converse with the stone.
Amazing.
The stones can answer questions to you about who or what touched them in the past and what the stone might be concealing. Stones themselves have a particular limited knowledge and understanding. For example, a rock might have revealed that a snake was hiding beneath it, but could not tell if it was a poisonous snake.
That's very cool. I love it.
Yeah, I will put that in your character sheet before next session.
Thank you.
I'll quickly make a note of that. Boom. Cool.
Yeah, Birion would bow to him, his back as he's kneeling in front of the altar, and slowly turn and then head back out.
And you step out of the cottage and you sort of look up and you hear the sounds of bird calls now, and you hear the sound of nature, and this place is quite serene and feels more relaxed. And you see the two stone giant brothers sort of look at each other, and Ruknar sort of nods to you and turns away, and Krimbog does a big, over enthusiastic thumbs up and sort of jogs off towards his swing once more. And then you see the Firbolg, the short stature of Elmir, and he walks up and he says, "Oh, excellent job, excellent job. It seems things are a bit more back to normal here." As he sort of looks up at the sky and the birds are kind of flying down.
Yeah. Yeah, well done, Furion. I assume he's not going to wake him up now.
No, he's chosen a different path to connect with his god.
What did you say?
I just told him that not only would Scareus be super smelly, but also just look incredibly ugly, and
Oh my god,
you
I
wouldn't
knew it.
want to look at him all day long.
Oh my god, it's really clever. Oh god, I should have thought the ugly thing as well.
I have to give you inspiration, Tom. This is top tier roleplay.
Thank you. And he'd smile at Blossom and just say, "Well, you gave me the starting idea, Blossom."
I know. I will start the clever, and then you can be the clever.
It's, I'll keep that in mind.
Well, I guess we passed the dream. Where do we go now? Oh, no, I kind of want to have another go on the swing, to be honest.
Well, you better wake up soon. I've got more dreaming to attend to. Goodbye. And he sort of clicks his fingers, and you blink, and then suddenly you're back within the chamber that you once were in.
Oh man, I needed to tell that guy he was mean one more time, so he's not mean to his brothers.
I kind of feel sorry for his brothers. He may be wise, but, well, imagine living there forever.
Yeah.
Just a swing and a puzzle for comfort.
Yeah, and without a mum to tell off the brother when he's being horrible.
I assume he probably thinks he needs to be like that because his brothers aren't exactly sharp, but I imagine they'd just probably listen to him anyway.
No, they look pretty sharp to me. You know, rocks are pretty sharp sometimes.
Yeah. Like you.
As you awaken, Gertrude, you kind of look over at the unconscious body of the bandit that recognised Firion when you fought earlier in the chamber, and you see Lugum's kind of like sort of has got hold of his arm and is kind of gnawing on it.
No game. No game.
Badger. Heroes of Blood wake up.
Yeah, we're back now.
Yeah, Firion got us through that one, I think.
Yeah, we're on Firion.
Excellent job, Firion Moonlocks.
Thank you, Silas. Thank you, everyone. I'm just glad we could give the dreamer some peace.
Yeah.
Well, except that one, but yeah.
Oh yeah. That's why we'll come back and we'll game some other time.
Yeah.
Bear with me
What
1
do
second.
you think?
Hmm.
Firion cut out.
No, I mean, no, he's doing something.
I'm here. Hello, being a druid.
Oh yeah.
Druidy things, saying druidy stuff.
Sorry, just had to knock Rumble out because he was being annoying.
Firion would turn towards Silas and say, I'm concerned, Silas. The dream where we failed, it seemed... Did we release that entity into the world?
He looks down and he looks like greatly troubled. And he says,
I know little of Shadowflow. All I am aware that he was once the chosen of Melora, and that my people had to imprison him away. This was long, long ago. Before the calamity.
Firion looks very disturbed by that.
If Shaxina Spiritil speaks the truth, and a dreamer as great as her has no reason to lie, then we should be very concerned. Should Shadowflow once walk again with us upon this plane.
Can you think of any place or any people where we might learn more of Shadow?
he looks down at the ground and he looks up towards Gertrude. And he says,
The library? Like Rexentrum, maybe?
he nods and says,
The knowing mistress watches over this one. There are many of her libraries throughout the realm. Should you search more on the Shadowflow, perhaps you can find where he may strike first. I will continue to be vigilant and do my own investigation.
Thank you, Silas.
Wait, hang on. Where would he be then? Is he not in the dream? Should we not just go back in?
Little one. That
Well,
is...
dreams are just dreams, right?
he kind of pats you on the head, Blossom, and he says,
Little one, that is not how it works.
Oh, are you sure? Because my mom always says not to be scared of dreams. You know, because they're not
Unfortunately,
real.
dreams are a view, a mirror into another existence, another plane.
Oh, really? So in another plane, I am a dagger.
Perhaps.
Oh my God.
Perhaps even you are many daggers.
Many daggers.
Many
But
daggers.
I want to go to that plane. Can we go to that plane next?
He can't help but chuckle at Blossom, and he says,
Little one, I am sorry to tell you that shadow flow is like a great nightmare, and a nightmare that has come true.
Well, that doesn't sound very good.
I doubt we'll get to fight him as a stone giant like you were, Blossom.
Oh, no.
If it comes to that.
Oh. Well, maybe I can fight him as 1,000 daggers instead. We just go to this other, go to my dream, get my other version of me, bring me to this one, and then we can defeat him with 1,000 dagger blossom.
I enjoy your optimism, little one.
Oh.
We may not be done with dreams yet, Blossom, but for now I think I would very much like to place our next steps in your hands, Gertrude, and the wisdom of your knowing mistress.
My mum's got lots of books on flowers. If we go home, if that helps.
May do.
Well, I guess I'll send her a letter and ask her to bring some books. See if they help.
It would be an event meeting your mother, Blossom.
Oh, she's not. Well, I've got 4 mothers, but only one of them's got the books.
It would be an event meeting that one of your mothers.
Okay, she's pretty cool. She does like flowers. I think she'd really like you, Firion, to be honest. Because you could do the flowery thing.
Yeah, he does the flowery thing. Gives Blossom a little flower.
My
yeah,
mum
see,
thought
she would love it.
Two blossoms, so maybe they'd get on.
Oh, they definitely would. Yeah, if your mum likes flowers as well, maybe we should all get our mums together. Then they'll have lots of flowers.
Maybe.
What about your mum, Firion?
Separate one-shot campaign of all her mums.
well, that's going to write that down.
My mother's, she tries very hard. She's a long way away.
Oh, long way away. Can we still send her a letter though? Meet up at Hoppaduke with lots of flowers.
If you write a letter, Blossom, I'll make sure she gets it.
Oh my God, yeah, I will. Gertrude, do you want to help me write a letter at some point?
Yeah.
Fion's mum.
Maybe when we get to what's the place we're going to next?
Nogvarot.
Then when we get to Nogvarot, we can find some paper and write one.
Oh, we will. I'm really excited, actually. I think your mums will really get on.
We'll see. I'm sure we will.
What should we do now, though? Are we going into another dream?
We have done our best to ensure the dreamers slumber once more. Yet, I believe the Wild Mother has more for you here, Firion Moonlocks.
Oh.
I believe you should step forward and complete the trials.
Well, I will do so.
He sort of gestures off towards this way, and then looks back at the body of Talvin. If you remember Firion, I know it's been a while. That he was the Talvin Marshstride was his name. He was a member of one of the tribes of the Shady Creek Run, and he recognised you since you knocked him unconscious.
Didn't we put him in a like a little trap or something as well? And then Lugan was looking over him.
Yeah, I think you had a thing that was going to explode. I can't remember exactly what the logistics of it were, but I think he's definitely secured. But
yeah, there was some kind of explosion because I remember us being like,
Yes.
"Don't blow him up, Lugoom."
I think it was the what's that powder? The
Oh yeah, like blasting.
blasting powder. Yeah, you had it on like a string or something, and yeah.
What should we do about this guy?
He still sleeps.
Okay. Lugan, you can probably leave him now. Then he's just gonna sleep there in powder.
We could sew him up in one of those sleeping bags.
Oh, it takes a long time to sew stuff, though.
We could wrap him up in the sleeping bags.
Oh, then he'll just sleep.
I will bring him before the clan.
Oh, okay.
They will have an appropriate punishment for his defilement.
It's not execution, is it? Otherwise...
He shakes his head.
Okay, good.
I would like him not to return north anytime soon.
We will see that he remains in a prison of his own making, and he touches Blossom on the forehead.
Oh. Make sure you keep him alive. Maybe he knows where my dagger is.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know what you mean. Were you trying to turn me to stone, Silas? I don't think you can do that.
He smiles and just continues following Firion. Lugan kind of looks up and he's like looking at the guy and looking at you, Blossom, and he's like, "Leave? Leave?
One last nom, and then we go."
Yes!" And he leans down and like noms on the arm of this guy.
Good, Logan. Let's go again.
He sort of takes your hand, sort of like you're like a child. As you're
his arm to the so she's walking.
Yeah, as you're walking along, Snooper kind of looks down at you, Blossom, and he says, "Miss Blossom, may I inquire about something?"
Only if you tell me what inquire means first, and then maybe.
Query you. To ask. To question.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. What is it?
You and Mr. Moonlocks and Miss Von Tillage spoke of your mothers.
Yeah. Does your mom like flowers as well? You can bring her along as well.
I do not believe I have a mother, Miss Blossom.
Did she die?
No, I was created by my creator.
Created by your creator? Is that your mom, though?
He kind of looks down and he says, "You think?"
Well, I mean, I guess so. Moms create things. You know? Dads take part, but usually, it's mostly the mom.
I will remember to tell.
Do you have a dad as well?
I do not know. I have my creator, Tarian Darrington. My mother.
Yeah. Well, I guess he or she, or they, or whoever must be the mom. Yeah. What about you, Lugo? Do you have a mom? You can bring her along if she likes flowers.
Oh, Jesus.
Mom, what?
I forgot the voice then.
Mom, blibdle poop, mom.
Yeah. Does she like flowers?
No.
Oh. Does she like weeds?
Yes.
Oh, then she can come along as well. You know, because weeds are pretty good and flowers are better.
Lurgum have 20 brothers, sisters.
Whoa, that's even more than me. That's a lot. Do any of them like flowers?
No.
Oh, well, they can't come then. Only your mum can come, and Snooper, your mum can come as well, and we'll have a mum party.
Blibdle poop come?
Oh yeah, if they like flowers.
Listening to this and finding it difficult not to break down in laughter.
Mother. Bertha. Bertha.
Yeah.
Bertha of Lurgum. This voice is so fucking hard to stay in. Bertha of Lurgum.
Yeah.
Mother.
Well, if she likes flowers, then we can come on, Snooper and Luke, and we all can talk. Yeah, we'll talk about flowers. You love
Lurgum.
flowers?
Lurgum, brother, sister, Lurgum. Eat mother. Eat Bertha.
Oh no, that's sad. What do you do that for?
When born, Lurgum Kuatoa eat Bertha. Absorb nutrient for blibdle poop.
That's kind of gross, Luke.
Yes.
But you know, whoever took care of you can be the mom instead. Does that person like flowers?
Plur pleen.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Yes. Plur pleen flowers. You bring plur pleen flowers and heroes of blibdle poop make plur pleen happy.
With flowers.
Yes. Kelp.
Oh, kelp flowers.
Kelp.
Yeah, kelp counts. I mean, I don't really know what kelp is, but it's a type of flower, right? Or a weed. Or,
Yes, kelp flowers.
Kelp flowers, yes. Well, you can bring whoever likes kelp flowers.
Yes.
Christ. I need a t-shirt that says absorb nutrients for blibdle poop. It's just the best thing ever. And also we now need a character whose name is Kelp Flowers.
Yes, you really do. So here you do see a wooden door, Firion. If you were to open it,
yep.
Then it leads to a passage that heads further in. Silas sort of gestures that way and says,
"The first trial awaits Firion Moonlocks."
Well, wait, before we go in, everyone make sure you keep an eye out for demo. Very important.
Gertrude, do a perception check, because she has no idea where it is.
Yeah, do a perception check if you'd like. You don't see the dagger itself, Gertrude, but you do specifically remember that one of the bandits ran off in like this direction over to the eastward and then headed beyond where the passage was kind of like built up with lots of these stone benches had been piled up in the way.
I can't remember if we killed him.
You did not kill him.
He ran away. He got a dagger in his back but survived.
If we really think demo's going to help a lot, maybe we should do a quick search of all the passages, just in case.
Oh, I'm gonna be searching the whole time. Everywhere, Gertrude. You gotta check the nooks and crannies as well, even in this little brick.
Well, it was in his back, but he might have pulled it out. You never know.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
and it exactly. He pulled it out and then hid it from me because he's horrible.
Gertrude look at Firian and be like, maybe we should do a once over, and if we can't find it, I have to assume he's gone to the big dagger in the sky.
There's a big dagger in the sky, Gertrude. Oh my god! I want to see it so bad.
She's kind of looking at Firian for this is your trial, but
Yeah, Firian nods in acquiescence. It's like, let's take a look around. I want my friends to be at their best.
Yeah.
So if you were to head off eastward, you'd eventually get to the piled up benches, what you saw this man climb over and run off in the direction. Could any of you who want to do an investigation check for me?
Yes.
have I got anything that might help?
Yeah, Firian, you're quite distracted by the thought of this trial ahead of you, but Gertrude and Blossom, you both notice there's blood specks leading off initially in this route. However, with the 15, you also notice they eventually double back and head this way.
Oh, it's okay. He's on the way out. We'll get the dagger on the way out. I think that's the way out, right?
Silas points to Firian and says,
There is a further trial. North, east, and the graves and the temple also lie further to the east.
You're telling me he could be up there? Oh my god.
Blossom, would you mind if we did the first trial first?
Yes, so. Guess as long as it's a quick one.
Try my best.
Okay. I trust you, Fiona. Please be speedy, yeah? I'm gonna time you. 10, 13, something minutes.
so if you were to make your way down these corridors, eventually you would find yourselves over here. And you'd find yourselves in an area with a circular staircase climbing upwards into the dark, and a huge statue of the Wild Mother gesturing towards it.
Well, she's pointing that way, so I guess we're going that way.
Sort of Silas nods to you, Firian, and gestures for you to go first. And
Or maybe it's a trick, and she actually wants us to go through a mystical doorway this way.
I'm going to search for mystical doorways.
Yeah.
So you begin to climb the dark circular staircase until you eventually reach a well-lit room at the very top. In the centre is a similar statue you have seen throughout the rest of the shrine. However, below this one is a wooden plaque that has carvings upon it. I'll take you over.
Some rolls against the wall. No, there's no secret passage.
If you like to drag your tokens out here.
Funny thing is, with some written adventures, there would be, for no reason, a secret passage there.
Yeah.
Let me drag. Where is
She's
Silas?
pointing at us now I don't know what's going on.
And let me grab Mr. Legum and Snooper as well. So, in each corner of this room, you also notice that there's a circular altar with a ceramic bowl atop them. Each corner also seems to have a different theme to it, matching each of the seasons throughout Exandria. Upon the plaque itself, there is a phrase written. It says, "Winter shudders with ice and snow. Autumn rumbles, the sky lit aglow. Summer burns, air fiery as a hearth. Spring quenches with bloody rebirth." I will put that in the chat for you, just so you have a chance to read it.
Thank you.
Gertrude, I don't know what it says, but
What language was it in?
It would have been in... Let me just quickly check what language Fearbolg speak. Where is the fucking character sheet? One sec. It would have been written in both Common, and it would have been written in a dialect of Giant, if any of you speak Giant.
nope.
Gertrude would do comprehend languages to see if it says anything different.
It would, from what you can tell, say the equivalent message.
She know. I guess she still wouldn't know what it was, but it says the same thing.
It's
Thank
a
you,
pretty,
Gertrude.
pretty cool room. I mean,
So what do these look like? Big dishes?
So there's like an altar, and atop the altar there's like a ceramic bowl that just sits atop each altar.
is there anything in the bowls?
Nope, they're all empty.
Maybe we have to magically activate it somehow, so maybe the summer one about fire. Wait, that fire. About fire, I could try to create bonfire in that little bowl.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Yeah, she's going to create bonfire.
Yeah, and as you cast Create Bonfire, the bowl like catches the light and it starts burning a bright flame on top of the bowl and continues burning.
Oh.
She's like, oh yeah, it's pretty standard, you know. Read about them in the
Standard.
library.
Well, what do we do? Do we just put some bunch of flowers in this one?
She'd go over to the autumn one.
Mm-hmm.
She'd try to cast light. She'd make it also autumn colours.
It casts light, but it doesn't seem to have any effect on the bowl itself.
Well, there's a bit more to it than I thought.
Furion, can't put a bunch of flowers in this one. Maybe that'll do it. You know,
Okay, Blossom.
maybe just put flowers in all of it. But like different coloured flowers. Like this one green flower. This one gets a red flower. Or maybe I just got flowers on the mind.
Reminds me of us actually being here. Wild Mother teaches us that seasons can signify rebirth and renewal, just as the three of us were born once more under the gaze of our deities.
Oh, no, you telling me we got to die again, Furion? I don't really want to.
Neither do I, Blossom. And he casts Druid Craft in the bowl to try and generate some flowers.
Yeah, the flowers sprout, but it doesn't seem to have any effect on the bowl itself, though.
Oh.
Does anyone have any cold magic that they can cast for the winter one?
I'll just double check if
Yeah.
Silas does.
I do.
Okay,
She does shape water and turns it into ice. You can freeze the water.
Ah, interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, and as you fill up the bowl with freezing water, you see that this white flame sort of comes up. It's really cold. You can feel the sort of how cold it is. But the bowl is now lit up with this sort of white energy.
Did it! I did something! Oh my god. Oh, maybe I should do on this one as well. And the other one.
Yeah, if you tried the water, it would have literally no effect on the other
Oh, disappointed.
And back Blossom, I have an idea.
Okay.
Melora, I'm sorry if this is wrong. And he casts Thunderwave on the Autumn Bowl.
two. And the bowl stands steady, and then almost it's like echoing around in the bowl the sound of the thing, and it creates this sort of like energy and this sort of like light energy that sort of appears above the bowl, and the bowl sort of lights up itself with this
Varian smiles.
thunderous energy.
Oh, you did it.
That's one each. Perhaps the last is down to the wisdom of Lugum.
There you go. You got any ideas?
No.
Oh, no. What about you, Snooper?
So Snooper D.
Lugu, maybe seeing as you're from the lake below, your blood will quench it. Seeing it's like blood and water, and that's where you live.
I was going to suggest the same thing, Miss Von Tillage.
Oh.
Kieran's intelligence 21. He write it down.
Blood? Lurger no want blood. But heroes of blood don't poop. Can you do a persuasion check with
Gertrude.
advantage, Gertrude?
Gertrude's going to close her eyes and go,
Oh, Blibder Poop said you should.
Oh, do a deception check with advantage then.
Not lots of blood though, just a tiny bit.
He's like, okay! He holds out his arm to you, Gertrude.
Gertrude, she's like,
Oh, in the name of Blibder Poop, your child sacrifices some of his bodily liquid to you.
and she would like slit his palm.
Yeah, and as it fills the bowl begins to light up itself with like this blood red energy. And he's
And then
like,
she's like,
Oh, she's pleased with you, Lugu.
ah, that means Lurger, hero of blood don't poop too?
she closes her eyes again. She's like,
Oh, you're getting there.
Good. As you all four bowls lit up, you see from behind you, Firian, you sort of turn around with your passive perception. You notice suddenly, within the hand of the Wild Mother is a large red gem.
Whoa. I bet that was there the whole time and we could have just grabbed it. It was invisible.
Maybe. Thank you.
Now I
Wild
feel
Mother.
silly.
He'll reverently lift the red gem.
Yeah, and you can hold it in your hand. It feels quite cold to the touch. And you would remember, Firian, that thinking back, again it's been a while, upon the great mighty door, the stone door that the half-ogre was trying to smash through, you specifically remember on the front there was like two indentations that looked like gems might fit. This gem might fit into one of them.
I believe perhaps we're halfway there.
Oh, halfway. I'm really tired, you know. 3 dreams?
Too tired to find demo?
No. No, definitely not. Too tired to find him.
Varian heads down the stairs.
Yeah, I'll take you back over to the other map. And if you want, I can move your characters over to the other side. You'd find a
please.
passage very similar to this one.
First, Blossom's gonna wave a hand over this hand here. She's like, oh, there's no gem in this one.
Everything's got drag you. And then drag you up here.
On the way,
Mm-hmm.
can Gertrude talk to Lugoon?
Yeah, of
and
course.
See what she can find out about Blibdo Poop.
Mm-hmm.
But not like role playing out. She just wants to see what she can glean about her from Lugoon.
Yeah, do just a general charisma check for me. Okay, 13. I mean, this isn't very sort of broken common. He doesn't, as you well know, he doesn't speak the best common.
Yeah.
And also his general demeanour is quite insane. And what you gather is that he refers to her as, when sort of prompted, he'd refer to her as the Sea Mother. And he would... What else would he? Just quickly.
Yeah. So what she's planning is trying to get information out of Lugoon and reading up about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then like getting some symbols and stuff at some later point, so that when Lugoon doesn't behave, she can do what she just did and like basically convince her that Blibdo Poop is the strongest through Gertrude. So
Interesting.
basically she can command him around.
Okay, I think one thing, if you would like to keep prying into that, I think with that role, because he's not particularly hard to get through to, you would learn that he's sort of like you prodding information about, you know, Blibdo Poop and maybe sort of things like offerings and stuff like that. He sort of mentions, he goes, Black Pearl, Black Pearl, Black Pearl.
Interesting.
And he sort of like, as he says it, he says it kind of like slightly like reverently, as he sort of bows and kind of puts one hand up in front of his face and one hand sort of like behind him.
Would Gertrude know about? Would they be expensive?
Do a Arcana check for me. You're honestly not sure. You probably have to inquire at the Cobalt Soul to be sure, you think.
Yeah.
You've certainly never seen any yourself.
Okay.
Like, you've seen regular pearls, maybe in like jewellery and stuff, but I think even Gertrude would be aware that, like, just from her times in living in Zadash, that she's never seen like a black pearl in any jewellery from her own personal tastes or anything like that. You assume it's probably quite rare.
Should definitely make a mental note to try and read about them.
Okay. So as you reach this area, you begin to climb another set of circular stairs, which leads you to a small room that matches pretty similarly to the one you were just in. It's dimly lit by candles and alcoves upon the walls.
Oh, where did the blood go?
Oh, so the blood would have headed all the way up here. So all the way up here, and sort of like some of it would be sort of around the base of this statue, and then it seems to double back on itself, as if someone came in here. You think? I think with the investigation checks you got from before were more than good enough to recognise that.
I can't see like a mark where someone jetted out some blood as they pulled a dagger out or something.
Do another investigation check. I think with the 22 you would, and within 22 as well, there's literally no sign of the dagger. So you get the impression perhaps someone tried to pull this dagger out and maybe has pocketed it for themselves.
She'd be like, someone tried to get Demo out of themselves, I think, but I think they actually stole it, Blossom. So you've got more reason to get him now. He's
Oh my god.
even more of a criminal.
He's a thief. A thieving Demo, a thief.
A dagger thief.
My God, that's like the worst thing you can be. That's even worse than, being mean to daggers, So are we gonna have to find him after this thing? I'm sorry.
There's nothing to be sorry for, Blossom. You
Okay.
find yourself so thoroughly enchanted by the crafted metal, so be it.
He's pretty.
So, as you climb the stairs, you eventually find yourselves in this room. If you'd like to place your tokens over here. I won't drag Snooper and Mott's, but you can assume they're in the room. So, in this room, you see that in the top left stands the statue of a fox. In the bottom left stands a statue of a wolf. In the bottom right stands a statue of a bear. And in the top right stands a statue of a snake. Straight ahead of you stands another statue resembling the likeness of the Wild Mother, her hand reaching out towards you as if beckoning you to come closer. On the base of the statue, another placard sits with the inscription in both giant and common, and it reads, "All four are bound to the same land as we. Some lay low, consumed in shadow. Others stand tall, stretching their necks to see. While none live in this sacred barrow, they all demand your attention if you are to proceed. The first fears all, the second fears none. The third eats what it can, preferably number one. The fourth fears the second, but only when alone. Announce these creatures' names in order to reveal the Wild Mother's sacred stone." And I'll pop that in the chat for you so you can give it a proper peruse.
Oh, delicious puzzles.
Don't know. Blossom's gonna check the statue's hand, see if it's got an invisible gem in it.
No, there is no gem in it, no.
There's no invisible gem in it for you.
Thank you for checking, Blossom.
Wait, what were the animals? Snake.
There's a snake, a bear, a wolf, and a fox.
What does this bit say? Announce these creatures' names in order. We're gonna be here a while. Fox, snake, blah blah blah. Fox, snake, wolf.
Blossom,
Yeah.
the Wild Mother is granting us the chance to share our wisdom and our understanding, not to babble every answer possible.
Oh, but how are we meant to know the answer?
Well, think about the words. Do you think a bear is scared of a fox?
Well, it could be, Sometimes they got really big teeth, right? So.
But do you think more bears in the world are scared of foxes, or more foxes in the world are scared of bears?
Depends, If it's a baby bear versus an adult fox, I'm gonna say the fox is gonna win.
Okay, well then, in your thinking, fox probably wouldn't be the first name to say, as then first one fears all.
First one fears all.
Wait, wouldn't that be fox?
Yeah, Varian holds up a hand, just says, in Blossom's mind, perhaps that would be how it started.
No, I don't know. The snake fears nothing. I know that. Snakes are pretty fearless.
What makes you say that, Blossom?
Have you met a snake? They come right at you,
I haven't met many. Grass snakes, mostly.
Well, grass, I don't know what a grass snake is, but the snakes I've met have been real mean. You try and get their eggs and they still try and whack you with their teeth, and it's really mean.
I see.
can't work it. I can't work out the fourth. Wait. Fourth is the second. Only when alone. So fourth is a fox, right? If the second is a bear, and the fox is number 1, and snake is 3.
Wait, did you say the fox is the fourth and the first?
No.
The wolf is
Fourth.
the fourth.
Yeah, fourth is the second.
So fox,
But
bear,
only when.
snake, wolf.
Wait a minute.
Fox.
Does that mean snake wants to eat the fox?
Yeah, I think so, because it's smaller, right? Because it's the only one it can physically eat.
I will say one thing. This snake is probably not as large as the statue is saying. It's probably a lot smaller.
So it can only eat the fox.
I'd say it's probably smaller than the fox, even.
Yeah, I was thinking, could the snake be the
Oh.
first one? Because the fox is a scavenger, right? It eats what it can.
I thought the snake would fear not much because it can poison people and shit. But then the snakes are scared a bit when they're not in a box, so I don't know.
Snakes run away from everything. Just because Blossom's poisoned your mind.
Well, it's because I think Kieran's like, why would the snake fear anything? I didn't thought it didn't even have fear. I didn't feel it had the concept of fear. But then
Varian.
I remembered that they feel safest in a box, and I was like, well, I guess that means they're pretty scared of everything.
Varian would call out snake, bear, fox, wolf.
And suddenly the gem just appears in the hand of the Wild Mother.
Oh, Wild Mother, you're wrong. Snakes don't fear anything. They're really, mean.
Sometimes, Blossom, it's good to think about whether we should change our minds.
Oh. Well, you're right, actually. She should change her mind, because she's wrong.
Varian picks up the stone, says, "Thank you, Wild Mother."
Well, I've never met a bear, to be honest. Are they cool, Varian?
Varian's already gone down the stairs.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'll move you back over. And I'll move you. I assume you're going to head back to the centre chamber.
Blood?
Yeah, it depends where the blood trail goes.
Okay, so I'll move you back down to here. The blood heads off with Gertrude's previous investigation check off in this direction.
Blossom holds out the other half, and she's holding out Lish, the dagger. She's like, we're gonna find Demo soon, Lish, don't worry. It's gonna be... The person's gonna have another dagger in his bag.
As you get to here, Gertrude, you see another door.
You must have come through there.
Oh, the
Vegan.
sneaky man.
Come and open the door.
Yes! He opens the door for you, revealing a room beyond that I'll describe to you.
Blossom runs in, looks around for
So,
dagger.
as you enter this area, Blossom, your senses are instantly assaulted with a thick, warm, muggy air that is much more pungent than the rest of this temple. You see surrounding the walls are a number of plants, vines, and other shrubberies. In both the south and north corner, there is a thick brown growth across the floor that almost looks like rusted metal. There are a number of bushes in the middle that have been planted running parallel with each other, and at the foot of each plant there are small offerings. Some are gnarled twigs and that have been woven together to create crude symbols, whilst others resemble flower crowns.
Oh, it smells really bad in here. Like that time my brother let all the flowers rot in the glass room.
Is that a guy?
There does seem to be a dead body upon the floor.
Does it look like what she remembers the bandit is wearing?
Do a quick perception check for me. 18. Gertrude, you see that he does wear similar clothing to the banding. However, the blood trail heads straight across the room, passing not anywhere near it, to be honest. Like more, well, fairly near it, but not close enough to be where the body lies.
Boston, don't go too near those plants. I'm not sure if that guy died because the plants attacked him, but blood goes over there.
Can Firion and Gertrude, can you both do either, your choice, nature or wisdom, or survival check, sorry?
Wisdom or nature?
A wisdom or survival, fuck's sake. Nature or survival, sorry. Brain. Gertrude, you're not sure about Firion. You look instantly over at this this rust kind of like coloured stuff that's in the sort of northwest corner, and then also in the southwest corner. And you sort of think back to times of seeing other moulds throughout your travels, and you recognise this to be a russet mould. A russet mould is a type of mould that when any creature comes within 5 feet of, the mould emits a puff of spores and can poison those who can like rapidly poison those who are poisoned by it, and the victims of this mould begin to sprout like this awful mould on their bodies as it begins to sprout out of them rapidly as the spores like take rapid effect throughout the body.
Oh.
So that's all you know with a 16.
Stay where you are, Blossom.
Oh, okay. Why?
There is danger in here.
Or where? She gets a dagger out.
Don't. You don't want to lose anymore.
Can you also all do a perception check for me?
The rusty colour on the floor is a mould, a russet mould. It's very dangerous.
Rusty mould?
Sure.
Rusty mould. I don't know what that is.
The Blossom, you don't notice it at all, but Firia and Gertrude, as you look around the room, within the vines there seems to be these large sort of forms of these like bestial creatures that are kind of just hanging there and almost look like they're asleep.
I can't really see very much beyond here. It's all dark.
I think Gertrude, you can do a nature check. I don't. With Firian's perception check, you probably can't quite. You can just about make out the fact they're there, but Gertrude's 21 is pretty fucking good.
Gertrude would say to Blossom, like, walk back to us very slowly, Blossom.
Okay. She steps back. She's walking backwards on her tippy toes.
You recognise this creature, Gertrude. That's the form of it in that's hanging within the vines, to be a creature called a thorny. A thorny is a it's like a it looks like a dog or a bear, and you know that when, based off your knowledge of russet mold as well, I would say now that you're sort of starting to piece things together, sort of bits of information starting to make sense, because you remember reading that thorny, when like particular, that when a creature like a dog or a bear dies from certain spores and stuff like that, they sort of come back to, or the form of their body is used by the molds as a like a mold of which people call a thorny, which are basically like bestial kind of plants.
Okay. She's gonna be like, you should leave quickly. Maybe we should get a demo after we've on the way out.
Oh, but we're so close. I can feel the vibrations of demo. The Lish can feel them. Probably.
I just think we should help Furion before we go after Demo. We need our strength to face whatever he's facing.
I guess so. Where's your next one then, Furion?
There's a door with 2 dentations in it, Blossom. We're going to put the gems in those.
Okay. Go on there, go. Don't stay in it. Smells like yuckiness.
Yeah, Luke's following with you. I'll,
Close the door.
yeah, I'll assume the door's closed, and I'll drag. I assume you're going back to the centre, so I'll drag these losers back there. So, upon the door, you see there are 2 indentations where the stones would fit upon the large ornate stone door.
Oh, can I put one in, Furion?
You can put both in, Blossom.
Oh, yeah. I want to do that.
So as you do...
Are they quite high up? So you're going to jump up and do it?
Yeah, they're a bit higher than your height. And you place the first in, and then the second stone into the grooves upon the large ornate stone door, and it slowly begins to slide open.
Oh.
And you are instantly greeted by a dimly lit room with an exquisitely tiled floor. The sounds of nature permeate throughout the chamber ahead.
Oh.
Oh.
Based off the trials, you might suspect that nobody has been in this room in quite some time, but there's surprisingly no dust upon the floor. It's immaculate. Approximately 30 feet in front of you lies a pool of fresh water with leaves that float upon the top of it. Surrounding the pool is a number of large cherry blossom trees. And finally, at the centre of the pool is an incredibly large statue, once again depicting the Wild Mother. However, beneath her lies an altar, upon which lies a beautiful staff. And Firion, as you step closer to the water and you sort of look down into it, you see, instead of your own reflection, you see the reflection of the Wild Mother herself. And you begin to hear a voice within your head. And she says, "For almost all of history, my children have had to fight nature to survive. In this century, in order to survive, my children must protect it. My children need guidance, and you shall be their shepherd. Take my crook. You have quite the journey before you, Firion Moonlocks. Plant seeds of happiness, hope, success, and love. It will all come back to you in abundance." And the water sort of, like, you see a droplet falls from the ceiling, and it kind of sort of sends the water to move outwards, and the reflection is gone, and you see your own reflection in the water.
God, can I give the DM inspiration?
Thank you.
Oh, I got chills. That was awesome. Yeah, Firion would, I think, have chills run through his body, but he steadies himself. I think he'd sort of gently turn to Gertrude and hold out his staff, like with the end on the ground, and just say, "Would you mind?"
Not at all, Firion.
And
Take it.
he steps forward, takes a deep breath, and then walks slowly and purposefully into the water.
And the water's cooling and calming. You feel just so relaxed just walking throughout this pool. There's no resistance in the water. And as you reach the altar on the other side, you see this shepherd's crook with small little flowers blossomed on the end of it.
Can Gertrude have her staff ready to try and grab Blossom if she goes over?
Of course.
The pincer staff.
Mm-hmm.
Blossom's trying to dip a toe into the water.
If she came in the water, she would sort of half press it around her.
It's like, I think this is time for Fury and Blossom.
Oh, I just wanted to see my reflection. Fiona had a really cool reflection. And also, it looks really refreshing. You could do a really good, dive bomb into this water, I think.
It's just like,
Look, Blossom, but don't touch.
Okay.
And as you're talking, Firin, you make your way up to the statue, looking at this huge towering statue and figure of the Wild Mother above you. And you reach down and take the crook in your hand.
Yeah, Firion would say, "Thank you, Melora, for granting me another chance in this world. I will protect your flock with my life." And as he's hearing Blossom behind him and Gertrude trying to keep her under control, he just sort of smiles to himself and says, "All of them." And then picks up the crook.
You may add the Staff of the Wild Mother to your inventory. It should be on D&D Beyond, I think.
Nice.
And Firin, you would instantly have an idea of what this does as you touch it. But I'll let you read it out. It should be in there. Let me double check.
Oh my god, it's a brown colour! Requires attunement by Druid. Oh, that's cool. Attunement. You have a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this magical weapon. Whilst you are attuned to this item, you are able to use your Wild Shape ability at will to transform into any CR0 creature. That's awesome.
That's really good.
I'll also say, Firion, you get the impression that this staff is dormant from its full abilities. So as you progress further throughout the adventure, the staff may upgrade, and you may be able to transform into higher CR creatures at will. I would say that it doesn't consume a wild shape slot or anything, doesn't cause any charges. You can literally transform into any CR0 creature as many times as you like.
Oh, that's so cool.
Think of any CR0 creatures. What, like a bee?
rat.
There's quite a few.
Loads of them are, yeah. Lots of useful ones. Little spider, a rat.
Spider.
Yeah, Firion would hold the staff at first in two hands, kind of feeling the length of it, and then kind of straighten his back and in the one hand walk back along, but smile as he sees Gertrude wrestling Blossom, and as he gets to the edge of the pool he will reach down and then just flick up and splash the cool calming water on Blossom.
Oh. See, can I go in, Fiona? I know, it's your thing and everything. I kind of just want to take a little dip, just a little. My feet, just a little foot dip.
He would hold out the staff and then push her into the water.
Woo! Yeah. I didn't mean that way, but now that I'm in, splashing around.
And then he turned towards Gertrude and to give her a grateful nod. Thank you.
She kind of looks over at Lugu.
Lugu looks pretty desperate to jump in, but he's looking like very nervously, like a dog looking towards its master, towards Gertrude.
Gertrude's like, Nip Drip Poop says it's bad water, Lugu. Drip Pood water.
Bad drippered water.
You'd best go rescue Blossom from it. Luguma looks like she's struggling.
Hero of Blibdolpoop! Alright!
Just kind of sighs.
Dives into the pool.
Hey, how you going?
He like
You come
drags
just
he
come
drags you out of there as quick as he can.
Oh, I know we got to go, but I was having fun.
Ludum safe from Badgerpurd water.
Well, no, it's good water. You should go in, drink.
Badger pool.
Yeah, what did you get, Fiona? It looks like a stick.
You'd also see on the end of it, Furian, like I said, there was a flower, one that's blossomed, but there's two that are still like in buds, which kind of represents the
It's got cute little flowers on it.
represents its dormant form.
Melora Blossom
Oh, she gave you a stick.
gave me a very nice stick. She wants me to keep everyone safe.
With a stick. You do better with a dagger. Do you want one of mine?
He kind of winces. No,
Um,
thank you. Blossom.
Talking of daggers, Blossom, maybe we should go and find Demo.
Oh yeah, we should.
He'll want to meet his new friend. And she like gestures at the stick.
Well, maybe, but you know, sticks and Demo don't really get along.
Isn't Demo's like, isn't Proto Demo like a wooden stick? Can't you have a wooden dagger?
Well, you can, but they're not as good. You know, they're not as shiny. You know, and they don't cut stuff as well. You know, or at all, kind of really.
Does Gertrude know of any trees in the world that could, fashion a extra hard dagger?
Ooh, interesting question. I would say, do a quick history check or nature check for me, Gertrude. What did you get? 20. Very nice. Quickly check something.
Oh my god, Fiona, I just realised, you know, you say it's the wild mother. She likes flowers, but does she like weeds?
Likes life Blossom.
Oh, well, that's right. You can invite her still.
You would know, Gertrude, that throughout the realm there's definitely like different hard oaks and different breeds of trees. However, there is only one place you can think of, a very dangerous place that you can think of that you've heard rumours and that the once great Savalier Wood in the north of the Marrow Valley, which is where you currently are, possessed these great trees that were known to have bark and wood that was harder than steel.
Mm.
However, with that history check, you also know that nearly 3 centuries ago, this forest suffered a terrible curse wrought from the disaster that felled Melasmere, which is there's a lot of lore here. Which is like a sanctuary within the Savalier Wood, I believe. Where is this? Sorry, so much information.
She would tell Blossom that in a sort of cut down, easier to understand way.
You'd also know, Gertrude, that in the century since this disaster, the fey magics have grown twisted and dark, the denizens corrupt and feral. There are spirits and monsters that crawl up from under the cold, rotted forest floor, while shadowy whispers bring nightmares to those who sleep beneath the sinister trees.
Mm.
You'd also know with that history check, and particularly with your skill of language, that the forest has been renamed to Savalier Wood from the once great Velethil Forest, for the elven word Savalier, which means guilt.
She would talk about it. She would use the elven name then, as she's talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And she'd be like, "Well, we could go there."
You know it's incredibly dangerous.
But maybe when we've got Demo back, at least.
Oh, okay. When we get Demo back, we go get really good wood.
Well, we've got a lot of other things to do, but
Oh, true. You gotta get them. You gotta have the mum flower party first.
yeah, exactly. When we have that, we can go sometime after that.
Sounds good. Oh, we'll make a plan for it, Gertrude. You know, you're really good at plans. So when we get back, we do that.
That said, Gertrude, I will say that merchants do travel through the Savalier Woods. It's not possible to go in, but you really do not want to be going off the paths, basically.
Yeah, she's assuming that Blossom might forget until a later time.
Pretty much. Zylus, did you get a really cool stick from Wild Mother? Where's your stick?
You look over to Silas Blossom, and instantly he does not even respond to you. He is already down on one knee and is just paying complete reverence to Firion.
Oh. Well, are you tying your shoes, Silas? What's happening?
I must bow before the chosen of Melora.
Oh. Hang on, I'm confused.
The flock doesn't bow before the shepherd, Silas. Please stand.
He stands up before you and smiles.
I aim to be worthy of this blessing given to me.
For all that I have sinned, Firion Moonlocks, you are more than worthy.
You.
I mean, that was a cool sound and everything, Fionn, but I'm not a sheep, I don't think. Am I a sheep? Wait a minute. Gertrude, did I become a sheep?
No, you're just a frog.
Okay, that's right then.
Shall we take our leave, Firion Moonlocks?
Yes, though I think I owe it to my little friend to try and find her favoured sharp piece of metal.
When we came in, Natalie, did we see any exits or things going this way?
No. Oh yeah, you did, yes. There was one sort of further down here that headed... But you saw that was blocked off as well.
Oh, right, yeah.
So it looked like perhaps... I think, based on Gertrude's being pretty wise, she probably reckons that since that body in the centre looked like it belonged to a bandit, but not possessing the blood of the one that that Blossom stabbed, you get the impression that perhaps that he went in there before and perhaps was killed by something, and then they blocked it off so nothing could get to them.
So with that, and she doesn't see any blood coming around here, that guy is probably down there somewhere, dead or on his own. There's no exit that she saw.
There was an exit, actually.
But it was blocked off.
It was blocked off with like sandbags and like wooden spikes, but not impossible to get through.
She would suggest going down there first to see if there's blood leading away. So they don't have to go back in that room.
So if you were to head down to this area, I'll move some of you down, you would see a more like pool of blood here, Gertrude, and there's some like on the ends of the tips of here, on the sort of side section, and then more blood kind of heads off in this direction.
I think he's got away.
And as you get to here, Gertrude, you'd also notice that on the floor like here is a like bandages. Looks like he's like bandaged himself up, and some of them is like sort of he's just like dropped them to the floor.
I think he's gone outside.
Oh no. That means he could be anywhere.
Varian, could you turn into a bird or something and see if you can see him anywhere? I mean, he's probably quite far gone, but...
I can't yet take to the sky. I need time to learn.
Okay. We can follow the blood as far as possible, but who knows? But maybe it'll slow him down.
Maybe. Usually when I stab someone in the back, it does slow them down a bit. So maybe.
So
Silas bring this guy?
yeah, Silas would bring this guy. Yeah, quite easily carrying on his big furball frame, and you gradually make your way back outside. And the first thing you would notice, Gertrude, is that the blood. It looks like someone's gone through the camp outside and maybe gathered more stuff. And looks like someone's maybe left in a hurry. There's definitely some stuff missing from what you saw before, and the blood trail definitely begins to fall off as you get further and further as you get outside this place. It looks like the bandage is probably soaking in a lot of the trail.
How far would you be able to get with blood trail?
Maybe 50 or 60 feet before it sort of becomes impossible.
She would ask Firion if he can use like his survival and his, with nature to see if there's any broken branches, like if he's left a path where he's brushed past things.
Yeah, Firion would absolutely try.
Do a survival check for me, Firion.
I can't imagine this guy's very careful running on here, but...
Person's gonna follow you. I need to BRB a second.
No!
I'll use my inspiration.
Okay. Yeah, Gertrude was correct. This guy was not very careful, as he leaves some very obvious footprints, signs of broken twigs and branches, a path that would... You don't know how far ahead he is of you. Actually, with a 22, the footprints, boot footprints look as if they're maybe an hour or so old. Maybe slightly longer. It looks like he's heading in the direction of the central Glory Run Road.
Heading to the road, Gertrude. He has perhaps an hour on us.
Do you think with you and Silas leading, we could make up some of that time?
Eventually, yes. Silas may wish to head back to his people.
I must return to the clan with this one,
And gestures towards the body.
The clan lies south west of here, away from the road.
Thank you, Silas.
Thank you, Firion Moonlux. Thank you all.
Thank you, Silas. I'm glad we could help.
I will look more into Shadowflow for you, and I will ensure to share all which I find and know. And you are always welcome within the Crisvale thicket. Should you ever have need, Firion Moonlux.
And he gestures towards the crow on his shoulder, and the crow flies over and lands on your shoulder, Firion. He says,
a new friend to guide you.
And you can add, Tom, you can add a sidekick to your, or just wouldn't be a full sidekick, but you'd be able to add what I think would be a raven stat block or a hawk. I think I can't remember which one it is on the thing, but you can add it as a extra creature you can have with you.
Amazing, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. Just quickly, Firion would smile at this, say, "I'm glad for the company. I would like you to have this, Silas," and hold out his old staff.
Silas sort of bows slightly and then sort of checks himself and says,
I am honored.
Let it be a trusty companion for you, as it has been for me.
May our paths cross again soon, and may the Wild Mother always watch over you, Firion Moonlocks.
And you, Silas.
Oh.
Gertrude would ask what he thinks is most likely what do if that guy's carrying.
Do a persuasion check.
To tell her.
Yeah, he's being a little bit coy about it.
Okay.
He kind of looks down to you and he says,
He shall dream.
Like a dream or a nightmare?
He shall not suffer,
That's alright then.
but he must remain imprisoned within his own dream to ensure this cannot happen again.
I mean, as long as he's dreaming something not too bad, then we'll just make him dream what his life would have been like if he escaped. I'm sure he'll be happy with that.
He will learn appreciation for the forest before he wakes.
That's a good idea.
If he ever says anything about demo, send me a letter. Okay?
That I will, small one.
Okay.
And remember, if you wish to truly be free and find your weapon, then always roll in the mud. And he
Roll in the mud.
He smiles at you, Blossom.
I remember. Roll in the mud. They'll find demo, right?
and
The mud.
he steps away, and in an instant he almost just like vanishes in front of you as he sort of the nature of the firbolgs blending into the forest magically. As he steps away, it's almost like you see him step out of vision into the forest, and it's like he's gone.
Well, that was dramatic. He could have just, walked down the path.
Right, we better get chasing Demo. Can't let him get too far ahead.
I will say that it's getting pretty late in the day now. It's not probably an hour's. Let's just quickly see how long it is to the road from here.
Just an hour to the road.
It's
That's probably alright. At least you'll be on the road then.
It's probably, you're looking at another 10 miles to the road. So it's probably another, it's probably another like, what, how many miles can you travel an hour on D&D? Can I fucking remember?
8 hours a day.
Yeah, so
3?
3 miles an hour I think it is. So I think you're looking at another sort of 3 hours travel.
We'll be safe in the woods, right? If we got ferry on.
He'll have to probably stop for it dark too, so he might not be able to get too far ahead.
Yeah, true. Exactly. Yeah. Well, so where are we going to sleep? Are we going to just sleep in the mud?
Find yourself a spot of mud that you like, Blossom. Perhaps we could.
Oh, okay. If that's the best idea. She starts looking around the floor for some good mud.
Yeah, you could test there's mud all over the paths and everything, you can definitely see.
This bit has got a leaf in it. This bit might be quite good. That bit there, looking a bit shabby and, not as mud-like.
Is this place, could you pitch a tent here? Is it flat enough?
Yeah, there's definitely parts of the forest you could pitch a tent for sure, yeah.
Gertrude would probably start pitching a tent then.
What about this one, Fion? It's got a bit of a tree in it. The brown bit. The bark.
Remember what Silas said, Blossom?
Roll in the mud.
Indeed.
She just dives into the mud, starts rolling around. Okay, well, I'll cover myself in the mud and we can just camouflage into it.
Yeah, I think while this is going on, Gertrude would also be setting up a little mess kit next to the tent.
Yeah. Yeah, you could quite easily prepare for camp for the evening, should you choose to.
I could really feel that vibration in the room, though, where Demo was, probably. I'm not sure, you know. Could be out here. But maybe he dumped him in that room. We'll never know.
I think he's still got him.
What do you think Demo's doing right now, Blossom?
I don't know. He's probably missing me, you know. And probably Lish as well. He's probably missing Lish and me, and missing, being used for stabbing.
Has the sun gone down yet?
It's probably on its way down.
We can't yet see the moon.
Not yet,
Or the
no.
moons.
No, not quite yet.
Well, perhaps you should. Something I find useful when I'm worried, Blossom, is to sit like this. He sits next to her little mud pile, cross-legged on the ground.
Okay. Yeah, she copies him.
Close my eyes.
Okay. Closes her eyes.
And just take the biggest breath I can.
So, Blossom, as you breathe in,
yeah.
you breathe in and first you get the coughing of mud, but then you kind of resteady yourself and breathe in again, and you close your eyes, and then it's almost as if the sounds of nature begins to die down around you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just sort of sitting there and it's completely silent. And you keep closing your eyes for a moment longer. Just the silence and complete blackness inside your own mind. Until
thank you, bird. Shutting up.
Suddenly, you begin to hear this light kind of music that's just begins to trickle throughout your head. And you sort of go to open your eyes, and then you find yourself within a sunny, flowery field that's filled with different daisies and flowers and all different colours across this entire field. And you're currently alone with just you and Lish, just looking out onto the horizon. You feel like the Crispell thicket perhaps lies beyond in this forest, and you get up and you can feel yourself really the jigging and the dancing of this music as you start to you uncontrollably start to just skip and dance throughout this field.
Lish, this is, I wish Demo was here. And she starts dancing around and holding out Lish
And then suddenly appears before you. He says, "But Blossom, I am here."
Oh my god! Demo, where are you? I miss you.
I miss you too, Blossom. I haven't been able to stab anything in hours.
I know, it's really sad, I'm trying to find you.
A mean man has me.
Oh my god, where is he? I'll come and... with Lish, we'll come and get him.
He's going somewhere, I don't know where though.
Oh my god, no, where?
I think he might be heading...
And he kind of spins around in the air, and he's and then points straight upwards at the tip, and he's
north.
To the sky?
No, to the north. That way, and he points up the road, and you see they look around, and you see up the road.
Well, Demo, I'm not very good with directions.
I know, okay. Blossom. You just ask your friends, and I'm sure they'll help you.
North, okay. Just north, not north, east, west, and all that. People add stuff on.
Blossom, you just anytime you want to talk to me and you want to find out where I am, you just close your eyes like that Mr. Firion said, and I'll do my best to help guide you back to me.
Oh my god, okay. Don't leave me now, darling. I miss you so much.
I miss you too, Blossom. I love you.
Oh my god, we stay
I
here
can't bear to be apart. I need to stab things.
Oh no,
I'm in a grubby, oily bag. There's a disgusting rag in here.
Oh my god, no, don't touch the rag.
I won't touch the rag. I'm okay.
Okay, you stay away from the rag. And
Come rescue me, Blossom. You save me soon.
I'm gonna hold wait for me and wait for Lish. We're coming. Oh, come on, Lish. We need to go get him now.
Oh, and Blossom, I forgot to tell you that
What?
I'm really sorry for getting lost.
Oh no, I know. No, it's my fault. I shouldn't have thrown you around. Too reckless of me.
I promise that if you save me, I'll transform into the most powerful dagger ever, and you can defeat all your enemies with me.
Oh, you're already the most powerful dagger ever.
I'll be even more powerful for you.
You don't need to be, because you're already the most powerful, and that's why I'm gonna come
Thank
save you.
you. Save me, Blossom. I'll see you soon, hopefully.
I see you soon. I'm coming right now, actually. So don't you? So you say north? I'm coming now.
Okay, do you want to skip through the field with me?
Yeah, I do. I really do. Come on, Lish. And she grabs hold and she starts dancing and skipping around with both of them.
Yeah.
And running north, whichever way you pointed.
And she starts skipping through the field back towards the forest and back towards north, towards the road, and then you suddenly blink and you sort of see Firion kind of looking at you kind of slightly oddly, as Blossom has been kind of almost holding her breath for a full minute, Firion, and just then she opens her eyes and just
Breathe out.
Firion, we need to go get him. We need to go and get him now. He's north. We need to go now. She stands up and she starts fucking dashing off to the north.
Isn't normally how my meditation makes me feel. Gertrude, I think we have a situation.
No, where did she bolt off to?
That way.
Wait! She runs back. Is this north? This is north, right? The way I just ran.
Tell us what's going on, Blossom. And
No, we got to get him. He told me in the meditation, and I need to go and get him and save him. And he told me that he's north, and he's next to a rag, and he can't touch the rag 'cause that's gross. And we need to go.
Would Gertrude, would she sense it could be a religious experience?
do a religion check for me.
Or if Gertrude just, or if Blossom just held her breath too long. Not hallucinating.
I mean, what score did you get? You got 14 overall. You definitely think it's quite possible that she just held her breath too long, but I mean, you never know. You know that Sehanine is Blossom's patron, and you know that she's the those who she often is depicted quite tricksy sometimes.
Okay, which way was north? Is this the way that I just ran, right? I need to go.
If we go now, Blossom,
Yeah, but
without Demo, we might die, and then he'll never get back to you. But maybe you should try that meditation again. See if you can talk to him again.
No, but we need to go get him though. He's next to a really gross rag. Gertrude, he told me so.
There isn't much light left, Blossom.
Once you come and look at
That's right. I'll just have to, use my goggles, and we can run in the night.
I don't mean to be that person, but that's exactly why I don't touch any metal. Blossom, if we run off now in the night, what is a friendly forest now could become a very dangerous place. You could lose Lish. You could
Oh,
lose
no.
us.
Oh no.
You could lose any chance of finding
Oh,
Demo.
oh no, that would be really bad. Okay, we go first thing in the morning. No, I need to tell him. She jumps back into the mud and does the thing again.
Hopefully he'll be trying to recover from his wounds. So, but you should try talking to Demo again.
I'm gonna tell him he's got to hold on, because it's night time and, but hopefully he listens to me. I don't
Meditation
want to
is
make him sad.
about holding your breath for as long as possible, Blossom.
Holding my breath is not okay.
No. Arian would knock her on the head with his shepherd's crook.
Oh, ow!
Not as long as possible. I'm not having you harming yourself.
Oh,
It's about
okay.
controlling your breath, taking long, deep breaths, counting them if you can.
Counting the breaths.
Counting
Okay.
along with them.
1,
seconds in,
2, like that.
4 seconds out.
4 seconds. That's a long breath.
You do have little lungs. Maybe 3 seconds in, 3 seconds out.
Okay, I'll try it for you. Hopefully, I can see him again.
We'll find it. Awesome.
Yeah. She starts doing the little meditation again.
Lugium's like sitting next to you and just kind of like looking around like what the fuck's going on. And Snooper kind of sits down next to you, Firion, and he sort of looks over and says, Mr. Moonlocks, would you mind if I asked you something?
I wouldn't mind.
What is it like when you meditate, when you dream?
Find those to be two quite different things, Snoop. Meditation for me is about reaching out, a connection with inner calm and an outer acceptance of the world. Dreaming is like a wild magic almost. It can be a small nothing, everything all at once.
I cannot dream myself. At least I have never before.
Do you remember things?
When I am functional, yes.
Perhaps try taking Miriam, looks around himself, tears a little bit of leaf, a rock, a twig, chucks them all in a little on top of each other in front of him, and then takes the base of his shepherd's crook and mashes them up. Imagine if each of those was one of your memories or some part of it. Dreams often can take the form of a little bit from one memory, a little from another, thoughts sprinkled on top. Perhaps if you have a way to use your memories, you could try mixing them to make a dream.
He kind of nods and says, I will do my best, Virion Moonlocks. To dream would be a unique experience.
It is for everyone, I think.
He sort of sits there quietly, sort of sharpening his sword next to you.
Furion doesn't flinch. He kind of watches Snooper and sees the sword sharpening and the metal skin of Snooper, but he looks at his shepherd's crook and thinks of Melora and just kind of swallows his pride a bit and sits there.
Is there anything else anyone would do throughout this evening? Gertrude, maybe?
No, she'd just be sort of half looking after Blossom with the mess kit, like trying to make her eat stuff and trying to calm her down. No, she'd just be taking it easy, half, taking the day in, as it were.
Yeah. And you find yourself as the sun slowly begins to set, the sounds of nature and birds tweeting throughout the day slowly become more and more quiet, and the sound of night begins to echo throughout the thicket. And as you each think of what has taken place, the dreams throughout the Wild Mother's temple, the dreamers you've helped make sure the secret that Scorea Stonebones dreams of will not yet be awoken, and helping the other dreamer to rid his serenity of the Fae, the Archfey Artigan's mischief. And then finally, your thoughts turn to darker times as you think of what has taken place with Oman Shadowflow, and now what the consequences might be for him being unleashed upon the world. And you begin to rest and slowly fall into a drifting sleep as the relative safety of the Crispvale thicket surrounds you. And you may all take a long rest.
Hear Blossom snoring, kicking her leg in the mud. Damn Damn.
What are your plans for the morning? Are you going to head back to the road and
Go to the road, go north.
Okay. Okay, so as the night passes and you awaken once more, you pack up your things, you ready yourself as you travel back through the forest, travelling at a normal pace, I assume, or are you going to travel a bit faster?
Really fast, really fast.
Okay.
Double speed.
I think Gertrude would be looking out for places that he could have gone off to see efficient, not the efficient way, but what way he took, so we don't get further behind.
Excuse me. Fucking hay fever. Please do a survival check for me, Gertrude, to see how well you navigate through the forest.
Okay.
17. Yeah, you think that this guy's probably just going to be rushing in a singular direction and following. There's not really paths per se within the thicket. There is small dirt sort of passing on occasion, but they sometimes wind off and lead nowhere. It really is a forest that's sort of kind of in many parts untouched by nature. There is a central path that sort of winds through, but it's easy to get lost if you're not sort of paying attention and knowing where you're going, and the path only really starts to sort of become more obvious as you reach the sort of edges of the thicket. And I think with that survival check, you sort of think to yourself that you sort of guide yourself and watch for any signs of anything that might seem that where he might have gone, and you manage to sort of progress your way through the thicket, probably at a speed I think that would certainly match his, if not surpass it, as you sort of play smart rather than fast, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say after I think with that survival check, you probably gain an extra hour's travel a bit quicker. So I'd say if you're traveling at a fast speed, you could probably get about 9 miles, which pretty much brings you to the road. So I will. What sort of time would you have left, by the way?
Early.
It's like 6 sort of thing with first light.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's like.
So you would eventually, as you reach the edge of the forest, find yourselves on the road heading north. So this journey, the next part of your journey, is along the Glory Run Road, which is going to take you all the way from the edge of the Christfell thicket up to Nogferot. The entire journey in total is about 142 miles.
Oh my god.
Gee.
So it's going to take you. Yeah, it's not a short journey in total. So if you travel at a fast pace, you can travel, I believe. Let me just quickly.
Virion, turn to a horse.
You can travel 30 miles a day at fast pace, but you do get a -5 penalty to your passive perception score. So if it's 140 miles, let's say, so it would take you about 4.5 to 5 days to get to Nogferot.
Okay. Could we do my pony right about now? You guys remember my pony? He's not been delivered yet.
Well, I remember the one who kind of looks like him, I guess.
Oh yeah, where did my horse go?
You would have been able to gather Iceberg. Don't worry, I'm not gonna. He's not run off or anything.
Forgot about you, Iceberg. You good Iceberg.
Do a quick investigation check of Iceberg, actually, Blossom.
Oh, what's his stats again?
No, you investigating him.
Oh, invest, right, okay.
You do notice that there's as you look at Iceberg closer, does appear to be some sort of maybe scuff marks on his side where it looks like someone's tried to climb on him but been quickly kind of jettisoned from the back.
Well, whoever tried to get on you, I bet he had my dagger, Iceberg. Do you see where he went?
Doesn't say anything.
Oh, damn it, Iceberg. You gotta be more perceptive, you know?
Doesn't say anything.
Well, you know. Try your best. She gives it a pat.
You just feel the whole cold, hard steel of
Iceberg didn't see anything, guys. Very sad.
Well, better get moving.
Okay.
Okay, so you begin to travel along the road, upon the Glory Run Road, up towards Nogferot. Can I please have someone roll me a d20?
vote. Good boy.
Good boy. Three.
3. So as you travel along this road, there's grasslands and scrublands alongside. There's a few like streams and lakes as you cross, but mostly this is a pretty central travelling road. The road itself is pretty wide and is often travelled by carts and wagons. However, you're really in the sort of you're out on the plains now. You can see mountains in the distance. Far to the east, there's lots of boulders and natural rock formations. Sort of make up, been pushed out of the local hills, and the road sort of moves through sort of hilly areas and sort of winds up. There's no really signs of like alcoves or caves nearby as you're traveling through. Is there anything you want to do throughout this 5-day journey?
No, Blossom's just gonna meditate like every day and try and talk to the demo.
Yeah, and you would get replies if your meditation was successful, but let's see how well your meditation goes. Roll me 5 wisdom checks. Or just do 2 for starters. Just do 2 for now.
Okay.
Yeah, both days you get more messages from Demo, and it sounds like he tells you that he's definitely on a road now, and he's sort of getting further and further away, and still heading north. He thinks, and it's still gross in this bag next to this awful smelly rag.
You haven't touched the rag yet, have you, Demo?
I haven't touched the rag yet, Blossom.
Okay, carry on avoiding those gross rags.
I'll do my best. And on the second day, you rolled a 3 correct, Furion?
Yes, a 3 on the D20, yeah.
So a turn in the road that sort of winds around the base of a hill. And I'm sorry, I might have brushed over it. If there's anything you or Gertrude want to do throughout the first sort of 2 days, then please let me know.
No, Gertrude would just be concentrated on basically making ground.
Yeah.
And checking in around for like, I know it's a road, but seeing if there's any more fresher footprints.
Do a survival check for me. Or investigation if you prefer. Even with a 17, I'd say it's really hard to tell at this point. It's just...
It is a road.
Yeah, it's a well-travelled road, so not anything you can recognise, unfortunately.
Okay.
What about you, Furion?
Miriam would just be kind of passively, I think, just trying to observe the wildlife, the flora and the fauna. Just be kind of trying to get a sense for if things are changing as they're moving around.
Do a perception check for me. $13. You definitely feel that as you've sort of exited the Chrisfell thicket, the wildlife here is sort of vastly different. You see less sort of forest dwelling creatures and more sort of plain kind of grazing animals like goats and things like that especially in the kind of more hilly areas. The birds are fairly similar. This is, yeah, it seems the entire area really is teeming with those kinds of animals.
And then apart from that, I think he would be, though not completely making a game out of it, I think he would be trying out the abilities of the staff by as they're walking along, just suddenly turning into a rat and then turning back and then turning into a fox and then turning back and so on.
Yeah, and you definitely sort of as you're going along this road, you definitely get a sort of good sense of what it must feel like to be different prey or predator animals who lurk through these lands. And your first 2 days of travel are fairly uneventful. You might see the occasional passing merchant or courier, but they don't stop unless you were to wave them down to stop. They don't stop at the sign of seeing you.
Oh, if there are people travelling from the north, Gertrude would definitely ask them if they've seen a man, and she saw the guy, right?
Yeah. So you'd be able to give a good description.
Give the description of the guy who got away with the dagger.
Yeah. Roll a just charisma check for me. Yeah, I think you'd get quite lucky, really. There would be a travelling merchant who just seems to be sort of carrying trade goods and southwards, maybe towards the Dash, and they would tell you they did happen to see, interestingly, a man sort of travelling alone. Looked like he was wounded. That he seemed to be just travelling north along the Glory Run Road didn't stop to say hello or anything.
How injured did he look? Like, was he slowed down?
They didn't seem to say. He looked like he'd taken some kind of wound, but he said it looked well enough to be travelling on his own. He didn't seem like slowed down particularly by it.
Well, I guess the only other thing is, like, did they notice anything she herself didn't notice?
Not particularly. No, they weren't paying much attention, these merchants.
Okay. So he didn't stop for healing, I see.
Didn't. No. Doesn't seem like it. So, as you travel on the first day, you continue travelling north, and you see the merchants you encountered and some other couriers, and it gets to one point when the further you travel north, and in the distance as you look out across, you begin to see a large amount of people, like significant, like hundreds, sort of coming in your direction. Feel free to roll perception checks if you'd like to.
Perception.
Is it the army?
Oh man.
Yeah, Firian, you're not quite sure, and Blossom, it's still
That's
quite.
not a tree.
Still quite far, but Gertrude, as you correctly point out, you quickly realise that in the distance you can see the army, who look like they're heading directly in your direction, southwards. You think, based on your knowledge of the area, they're probably heading either to the Rockguard or Ashguard garrisons, which are sort of the front lines of where the war of Ash and Light is currently being fought.
She'd probably guide Firian and Blossom more to the side of the path so they can move past. She doesn't particularly want to talk to them.
Yeah.
Even though the guy... I don't know. No, she doesn't want to cause any ructions.
Blossom comes from an army sort of town. Would they be... any of them be from there, or are they coming from a different direction?
They'd be coming from a different direction more towards Blade Garden, so they'd be going... Blade Garden is literally like the closest city to the front lines connected to the Ashguard and Rockguard garrisons, so they're heading towards that direction, back towards Blade Garden.
Okay. So wait, hang on. They're not on our side, or they are waiting, or they're just coming back from battle?
It looks like they're going to battle. It looks like they're reinforcements.
Okay. I'm confused, but yeah.
They're going from their base south to another base.
Yeah.
The front line.
So I'll show you on the map so you've got an idea of what it looks like. So if you imagine you're maybe like here where your token is, Blossom.
Mhm.
they would be travelling down towards you from this direction and heading down towards sort of Blade Garden and then up towards these two garrisons.
Okay, I see. Yes. Interesting.
Yeah, unless any of you wanted to stop to talk to them, they would certainly keep marching.
Yeah.
Yeah, Firion would have followed Gertrude's lead.
Yeah, she knows that Firion's got some undisclosed stuff that, he probably doesn't want to get involved with.
Yeah, you definitely recognise all the soldiers as Righteous Brand soldiers as well. They're all wearing the armours and the insignias. There's lots of horses and stuff heading with them, and there's carts of weapons and things like that. No.
I wonder if they're going to stop through Blade Garden. Maybe they could say hello to my friend.
They might not be in the best moods.
No. True.
And I kind of doubt that, well, you never know, one or two of them might have seen that guy go up to the north, but
She just kind of sighs.
maybe we just shouldn't get involved with them.
Maybe. It's still interesting to see so many. We must be losing at the Blade Garden. Near the Blade Garden.
I'm sure it's fine, Blossom. Maybe it's just to make sure that no one else gets in.
Maybe, but it's kind of worrying.
It is. But,
Hopefully my mums are okay and everyone else.
well, we can write to them when we get to Novgorod, or we can. I've seen some couriers going through here. We could write a message, and then when we see the next one, pay them to take it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm going to write a message now so I feel better.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gertrude.
So, can they sit by the side of the road and write this message as the soldiers go past?
Yeah, of course, if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Just to ask whether Blossom's family's doing alright. Whether they've been invaded yet.
So I will remind you, Blossom, you did actually send a letter to your family a little while ago before you left.
Oh yeah, but she's sending another one.
Yeah. Are you going to pass it to the soldiers to take with them, or?
I think we should wait for another courier, but that's what Gertrude thinks.
Yeah. How frequent are the couriers? Have we seen many?
Maybe 2 or 3. They seem to travel very fast. They seem to travel on their own. That's how mail gets around. Just the quickest way to travel is to travel on your own and travel quick and try not to be noticed.
Yeah, just pass one to the next one then, if they're going to.
Yeah, you'd be able to stop them, and there would be. Roll a D100 for me, because I think kind of likely, but it's still not impossible. You might not encounter. So it's probably like a. Yeah, it definitely would encounter a courier heading towards Blade Garden. With the war going on, it's not uncommon that they're going back and forth at the moment delivering messages. So, yeah, you would be able to pass a letter asking how they are and stuff, and he would take it with them. He would require a payment of 1 gold piece, though.
Okay. I don't have any gold. Where's all my gold gone?
Gertrude would give him a platinum piece and be like, just get it there as fast as you can and back.
Oh, of course, yes.
Thanks, Gertrude.
No problem.
Okay.
Really worried now, though. Maybe I should go back and find them.
She would have put the fennel, what's that cafe called?
Fuck, hold on.
She would have put that as the address to mail it back to.
Okay, let me quickly write that down.
Or, if that guy sees us around or on the road anyway, he can just give it to us then. But I doubt that he'll be that fast for it.
Probably not, no.
Blossom will add in the letter as well, by the way, that if they're alright and it's actually looking pretty bad over there, for them to go to Huppadook and go live in their house.
No.
Quickly look at that place for you. Novgorod, places and NPCs. Rock and rolls.
God, we're gonna have a lot of mail coming there, and they're gonna be like, "What is this bullshit?"
Yeah. I think they're gonna get some contradicting letters here. Because I think Blossom sent a letter. So what did she say? God, it's...
I wrote out a whole letter,
You
didn't
did, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you told them to go somewhere else. God, it's...
Oh. Let me get it. I wrote it.
This is the most recent one, though, right?
I've already left by then, though.
Yeah, good point. There was no one there. Actually, that's all right. Because that means she knows she's there.
But this one actually might get there sooner. Because of the way the courier system works. Because there's probably more letters going between Rex and Trim and Thing than there is Huppadook and...
But it's good if this one gets there first, because it's safer, right?
It would be safer, yeah. Yeah, but we'll sort that letter out later, Hannah, and I can examine back and forth, and you can tell me what she put in the letter as well. Oh, you got it there.
That's the first. She sent 3 different ones, but they all say the same thing. But
Okay.
she sent one to the mums, then to the siblings, and then.
Did she tell them to go anywhere? So I don't have to read through all of it.
I'm trying to read through it myself.
Doesn't look like it.
I think.
Yeah, no. Okay, that's fine. Blurry Blob. Who the fuck is Blurry Blob again? I don't remember that.
It was a rat that she saw.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, "That's Blurry Blob. I
Right.
couldn't really see him that well, but now it's Blurry Blob."
I do remember that now.
Yeah.
So, I'll wait for Tom to get back, because then I can end the session.
I can't put the best longest letter there.
Yeah.
Remember?
I vaguely remember, yeah.
It is on brand for Blossoms to write bazillion letters and be like... Because I'm sure they won't be confused at all because they're used to it.
Pretty much, yeah.
It got here first, therefore it was sent first.
I will remind you, Gertrude, that when you do eventually get to Rex and Trim, your Cobalt Soul expositor master has wants you to meet him at the Rex and Trim archive, so you can begin your induction to become an expositor.
Cool. Oh yeah, gotta tell him about all the God stuff.
And also, your sister wants to meet you at the Roaring Donkey Inn.
Oh yes, I remember her.
Yeah. Cannot wait. That character's gonna be so fucking fun to roleplay. Oh, are you back, Tom?
Yep.
Awesome. So, after you pass through the army, you travel on for another day or so. And as the sort of day comes to sort of the sun hits the highest point in the sky, you begin to get to a point, a turn in the road that winds around the base of a hill that blocks out much of the horizon, before you are treated to quite the sight before you. In the middle of the road is a half-elf man with long blonde hair, and he's completely naked. And that's where we'll end today's session.